Welcome into WCMP's production of high school basketball. And now let's head to the court with Game Day Gilman.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's boys basketball game here on WCMP. Of course, you heard there in the intro, I am Ethan Game Day Gilman, and I'll be bringing you all the action from tonight's game as we are at Hinckley-Finlayson High School for this boys basketball game between the Jaguars and the visiting Mille Raiders. Looking at both these teams coming into tonight's game, the Mille Raiders unfortunately only have one win on the season. It hasn't gone the way they had hoped, but you can only go up from where you're at, and it will take on a Great River Conference opponent in Hinckley-Finlayson tonight. And the last time these two teams played, well, Hinckley-Finlayson did get the victory over Mille 54-24. So Mille is looking to get some revenge tonight on the Hinckley-Finlayson Jaguars. On the road, of course. And of course, tonight I think everyone's happy to be inside as it's been snowing. Not a lot of snow has really fallen. It's just a lot of snow that is blowing outside tonight, so I'm happy to be inside right now and not outside. Of course, I know when I get home I'll have to shovel and probably sweep some stuff off, but that's okay. It's all part of the winter fun and all part of being and living in Minnesota. Of course, we have been blessed these past couple of days with some really nice weather. Of course, I think it was 40-something on Tuesday, 30-something yesterday, and then got into the high 20s today, and I think we're looking at more coming our way even. So we've been blessed these last couple of days. Of course, I think they call it, Fool's Spring, before we get second winter here in Minnesota. So we're bound to go back and get some more snow here during this month of February. But I'm hopeful that in the month of March, maybe even towards the end of February, that things start to clear up snow-wise, winter-wise, and we can get the spring season started on time, much like we did last year. We were really blessed in that way last year where we didn't get a lot of snow and stuff in March, April, so we were able to start spring sports on time. I think they even had discussions of starting it early last year because all the snow was gone, and of course they still had to wait for the fields to be completely dry so people wouldn't sink or just slip around and want to keep everybody safe, but it was awesome last year, so we can only hope. But, of course, we got to get through this winter sports season and got a lot to get through. Still got a couple of games left, about 2 weeks' worth of games left, and I think it's 5 games each now for all the teams left here in the regular season, both boys and girls. And it starts tonight here. Playoffs, as I mentioned, just a couple of weeks away. And the Mille Raiders right now sitting at the bottom of their section. The Hinckley-Finlayson Jaguars, on the other hand, well, they're sitting at about 9th, and right now looking at the playoffs, they would travel to the high seed, which is right above them. They would take on the 8th-ranked team, which is Pierce. So Hinckley-Finlayson would have to travel up to Pierce, and right now that playoff game is slated for March 10th at 6 p.m. So, as of right now, the Section 7 AA playoffs for Hinckley-Finlayson will start on March 10th, and they'll have to travel up to Pierce. But, of course, that is just right now. That is not what it is going to be or how it's going to stay. Of course, that all could change. Hinckley-Finlayson right now has a great chance to kind of overtake Pierce in the section rankings of Section 7 AA, like I mentioned. They're 8th or 9th right now, but they could have a chance to move all the way up to even the 6th spot where Evelyn Gilbert is right now. They could jump Pierce Greenway and Evelyn Gilbert for that 6th spot right now. And if we go back and look at the section playoffs, if they were to get the 6th seed, well, they would get to host a basketball game, and they would host Proctor, who is ranked 11th at the moment. So, still a lot to get through here. We've got to finish up the regular season, and both these teams do as well. I think both teams have about 5 games left. And looking at Hinckley-Finlayson, they're 9-10, 1 game below that 500 mark. They're 1-2 in the section, 6-4 in the conference, and coming into this game, winning on Tuesday over Ogilvie, 56-46, losing last Friday against Pine City. But before that, they were on a nice, 4-game win streak, winning over Waukon, Hackensack, Akeley, Ogilvie, Bram, and East Central. But they're back here tonight taking on Mille. They'll travel tomorrow and go on the road up to Virginia, which is a section opponent. So they'll have to face off against a section opponent, which is good for them because then if they can win that game, and then they'll travel up to International Falls on Saturday. So if they can win both of those games, they'll be in a good spot to move up their position in the section standings. Because as I mentioned, right now they're 9th. They'd go on the road. But Evelyn Gilbert, they're up there at the 6th spot. Virginia is apparently not. Oh, there they are. I couldn't find it for a moment. Virginia's in the 12th spot, and International Falls is last place in the section. So just because of the standing-wise, the QRF wouldn't give them a lot more points, but it still would help to get 2 more section wins for Hinckley-Finlayson. That would certainly give them more points and help them move up over Piers, Greenway, and Evelyn Gilbert. Between those 4 teams, Evelyn Gilbert, Greenway, Piers, and Hinckley-Finlayson, points-wise, QRF standing-wise, well, there is 1 point that separates Hinckley-Finlayson, Piers, and Greenway. Greenway has a 51.9 QRF value, while Piers has a 50.7 and Hinckley-Finlayson has a 50.6. Then it's a little bit different for Evelyn Gilbert. They have 58.6, so an 8-point difference there for them. But again, section wins here for Hinckley-Finlayson the next couple of days would go a long way of helping them increase and maybe even take over for Evelyn Gilbert. That just about does it for me here in the pregame. We're going to get our starting lineups and our national anthem. And when we come back, we'll be set for basketball action here on 106.5 FM, AM 1350, WCMP.
Since 1967, Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley, has been where to go for all your building projects. Let Gerald Schmidt help you with designing, remodeling, or any new construction. Schmidt Construction specializes in residential home building, agricultural, industrial, and commercial buildings. With expert advice on all of your building projects and ideas, when you hire a contractor to take care of your building needs, you can't do better than Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley. 320-384-7901.
It's the holiday season. That means sipping hot chocolate and spending time with family and friends. But it also means winter is here, and your furnace is working hard. With your comfort and safety as our top priority, Aquarius Home Services is offering a $55 furnace tune-up and safety inspection. At Aquarius, it's about keeping you cozy warm and worry-free for the holidays, and treating your home and time with respect. Schedule your furnace inspection today at AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
Minnesota. It's home. Hot summers at the lake, beautiful falls, snowy winters, and rainy springs. We experience it all. Make sure you're ready to handle whatever this state throws at you with help from Minnesota Equipment in Isani. Minnesota Equipment carries brands you love, like John Deere, Steel, Toro, Gravely zero-turn mowers, and Aaron snowblowers. Their helpful staff can not only get you the equipment you need, but can help you maintain it so it will last. Plus, they carry a full line of farm equipment. Minnesota Equipment in Isani. Online at minnesotaequipment.com.
Mortgage rates haven't been this low since 2017. Chad Greenway talking Franzen Bank Mortgages. Now is a great time to buy or build your first home, your dream home, or that cabin you've always wanted. Or maybe refinance and lower your monthly payment. The local mortgage experts at Franzen Bank will find an option that best fits your situation. Buying, building, or refinancing. Find a Franzen Bank mortgage expert today at franzenbank.com/getthere. Tell them Greenway sent you. Franzen Bank and Trust. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is a story we all share, of a place rooted in tradition and rich with opportunity, a people driven by compassion and vision. At Essentia Health, we're proud to play our role in this story, because we know that this place, these people, are like nowhere else. Visit Essentia Health in Hinckley, Sandstone, or our new location in Moose Lake for all your care needs. Schedule an appointment at essentiahealth.org today.
Are you ready for winter? Call D&E Heating and Air Conditioning in Hinckley. D&E Heating and Cooling is a local Amana dealer with quality workmanship and superior service. Now scheduling into 2022, D&E is ready to assist you, keeping all your heating and air quality appliances working like they should this winter. Their technicians are dependable, knowledgeable, and will provide a professional work ethic. That's their promise to you. Make them your go-to guys for all your heating and air quality systems. Look them up, deheatingcooling.com.
3 words, Sriracha Cheese Curds. Introducing the latest A&W family restaurant side with a kick. Sriracha Cheese Curds have arrived at A&W. We've spiced up our 100% Wisconsin white cheddar cheese curds with just the right amount of Sriracha heat. You can enjoy Sriracha Cheese Curds with your favorite A&W combo or on their own. Make sure to cool off the heat with a frosty mug of original A&W root beer. Hurry in, Sriracha Cheese Curds are only available for a limited time at your local A&W family restaurant in Pine City.
Back here on WCMP, getting ready for this game to start. Starting lineups right now are as follows. And starting lineups here for, the Mille Raiders, who are head coached by Jay Runyon, will be number 0, Eric Peterson, number 10, Jacob Gallion, number 12, AJ Drift, number 13, John Bayerly, and number 15, TJ Remmer. And then on the other side, for the Hinckley-Finlayson Jaguars, it'll be number 3, Silas Lefebvre, number 10, Trey Visser, number 21, Lucas Kreft, number 25, Levi Degerstrom, and number 35, John Buchanan. Should be a good matchup here. Another Great River Conference game between these two teams. Of course, the Hinckley-Finlayson Jaguars got the victory up over Mille the last time they played. So Mille will be trying to get the victory here tonight in Hinckley-Finlayson, but should be a good matchup. Hinckley-Finlayson trying to defend their home court. Out at center court will be Bayerly and Lucas Kreft, who will get ready for the tip ball. Officials make sure both sides are ready. And we are underway here at Hinckley-Finlayson High School. John Buchanan will start with the ball here for Hinckley-Finlayson. And he gives it off now to Visser. Visser back out to Lefebvre for 3 on the near side corner. Rings in and out. No good. Rebound by John Bayerly. Bayerly gives it off to his teammate, and it's Gallion with it. Gallion takes it up the court, gives it off to Remmer. Has that one poked out by Degerstrom. Nearly stolen away. Nice job by Degerstrom being aggressive early. AJ Drift will inbound to Jacob Gallion. Gallion, his pass is tipped to Drift. Drift will work it to the far side. Instead, he stops inside the lane there. Then to Gallion. Now to John Bayerly. Bayerly gives it off to Drift near side 3. That's off the mark. And rebound up for grabs. Remmer comes down with it. That's no good. And now we get a foul down on the court. And this foul going to be on John Buchanan, his first, team's first, and Remmer at the line to shoot 2. First one is up and good. 1-0, Raiders. Remmer no good on the second, so he only gets 1. And the Jaguars quickly up the court. It's Silas Lefebvre, who backs it out to Kreft for 3, and he drains it for 3. Lucas Kreft on the assist from Silas Lefebvre. Makes it 3-1. Gallion with it on the near side, tries to get it to Drift. Drift guarded well. He's going to go towards the far side, passes it to Peterson in the far side corner. That's no good. Rebounded by AJ Drift. Drift working, trying to get a pass off to Bayerly. He does. Now giving it off to Drift on the far side. Drift, far side corner, will bounce pass, and that pass just not enough on it. Degerstrom going to come away with the steal. He's down the court. Buchanan for 3, and that's good. John Buchanan on the assist from Levi Degerstrom will make it 6-1. Gallion working on Lefebvre. Lefebvre guarding him well. Gallion almost has that one stolen away. And now poked out by Lefebvre. It's a race to the basket, and Lefebvre's going to win that one. Up and in for 2 off the steal, making it 8-1. Gallion with it again on the far side, trying to get around Lefebvre. Lefebvre stuck to him like glue, gives it off now to Peterson. Peterson Elbow near side, gives it off to Bayerly. Now to Drift. Drift working around. He'll pull up. The long two is up and no good. Degerstrom going to come down, or excuse me, Kreft comes down with the rebound. Kreft will take it up the court. Kreft trying to work on Remmer. Now gives it off to Visser. Visser will back things up. He works towards the near side. Now stops. Gives it off. Here to Degerstrom. Degerstrom pass to the far side to Kreft. Lucas Kreft's going to pull up from three. That's good as well. Lucas Kreft 2 threes here in this game, and that makes it an 11-1 game. A 10-point lead right now for Hinckley-Finlayson. Gallion gives it inside to Bayerly. Bayerly had to double clutch that one, but he comes down with it. Bayerly guarded by Buchanan. And now Bayerly stepped on the boundary line. So this ball going to go back over to Hinckley-Finlayson. Kreft will inbound to Lefebvre. And Lefebvre will kind of just walk it up on the far side. Now drifting towards the top of the key. Gives it off to Visser. Visser, he'll go top key. Now drives inside. Puts up a little floater. That's off the mark and no good. And then a race for the rebound. Swatted into Degerstrom. Degerstrom going to pull up a long two. That's no good. And Gallion will come down with the rebound for Mille. Gallion pass to Remmer, gets away, nearly stolen. It is going to be stolen away by Lefebvre. Lefebvre takes it up the court, up and in for two. Oh, and did we get a foul? We do. We get a foul as well. So Lefebvre with the steal. The basket is good, plus the and one opportunity. TJ Remmers, the guilty Raider. Now checking into the game is Thomas Schleiss for the Raiders. Lefebvre trying to make this a three-point play. That is up and no good, so only two for Lefebvre there. 13-1 is the score. It is Schleiss who starts with it, and now his pass going to be knocked around and last touch out of bounds by A.J. Drift. So the ball will go back to the Jaguars. Kreft will inbound here to Lefebvre. Lefebvre up the court, trying to get around Gallion. He does. To the basket. Up, no good. A.J. Drift gets the rebound. And Drift will take it up the court. Drift tries to get around Kreft. He lost the ball, and it was stolen away for a moment by Hinckley-Finlayson, but Schleiss gets it back off the backboard and in for three. Thomas Schleiss with the three makes it 13-4. Now Lefebvre driving up the court on the near side, gives it off to Kreft. Kreft inside to Degerstrom now. Degerstrom gives it off to Kreft on the elbow. Kreft. He will drive inside, gives it off to Degerstrom near side corner for three. That's well short. And then coming down with the rebound is Kreft. Backs it out to Lefebvre. Lefebvre at the top of the key. Trying to get around the defender, which is Gallion. Now inside to Visser. Visser falling down. He passes it to Degerstrom. Now out to Kreft. Kreft wanted to drive inside. Gives it off to Visser. Far side for three. That's well short. And then throwing it in off the defender is Lucas Kreft. Kreft went out of bounds for it, got it, threw it off of Gallion, and it dribbled out of bounds, and Hinckley-Finlayson will hold on to it. Just a smart play there from Lucas Kreft. He inbounds it to Lefebvre on the near side. Lefebvre will give it to Degerstrom. Degerstrom to Kreft. Kreft back to Degerstrom. Now over to Visser on the far side. Visser gets around Schleiss for a moment. Backs it out to Lefebvre for a long three. It's no good, and barely. Going to come down with the rebound there for Mille. Schleiss up the court to Peterson. Peterson inside to Bayerly. Bayerly pass inside to Drift. Drift off the backboard, no good. And it is Lefebvre who comes down with the rebound, and he's quickly up the court on the far side. Gives it off to Visser. Lefebvre gets the ball back, now driving. Pass out to the near side to Degerstrom, now inside to Buchanan. That's tipped away and stolen away here by Peterson. Peterson will give it off to Drift. Drift back to Gallion, now over to Peterson once again on the far side. To Drift at the top of the key. Pass it to Schleiss. Schleiss to Gallion. Now to drift into the near side corner. Peterson all the way over to Schleiss. Schleiss on the far side. Back to Bayerly. Bayerly on the perimeter. Now drives inside. Puts up the shot. No good. Gets his own rebound. Puts it up, and that's no good. And Degerstrom will come down with the rebound for Hinckley-Finlayson. Pass up the court inside to John Buchanan. Up off the glass and in for two. John Buchanan makes it 15-4. Gallion. Pass to Schleiss is knocked out of bounds by Degerstrom, so Mille will hold on to it. Now going to check into the game is Jordan Masterson and Ashton Hosler. Mille has it off the inbound. It's Gallion who passes it to Drift. Drift thought about the three instead. Nice pass inside to Peterson. Doesn't get the roll. Remmer comes down with the rebound. And he'll have a chance at a three-point play here for Mille. 15-6. Remmer again has a chance for the three-point play. Off the front of the rim and no good. So only two for Remmer. Pass out now to Lucas Kreff for three. That's off the mark. And coming down with the rebound that time was Hosler. And Hosler, his shot is good. Foul is on Gallion. Hosler makes it a three-point trip. 18-6. 11-11 to go in the first half. Gallion will lose it. It goes between Masterson's legs and out of bounds. And the Jaguars will take over. Another turnover there by Mille. 18-6, they trail. 11 minutes to go. Visser getting around Schleiss. Gets a screen from Masterson. Thought about pulling up from three. Now gives it to Kreft. Kreft inside. Bounce pass to Masterson. That's up and no good. And he gets his own rebound. Out to Kreft again for three. Off the front of the rim. No good. Now it's Degerstrom who comes down with the rebound. Kreft gets a screen from Masterson. Passes it to Hosler for three. That's no good. And Remmer had the rebound for a moment. And let's see who this is going to be on. It's going to be on Lucas Kreft, his first team's third. Inbound is just Schleiss. Schleiss guarded well by Kreft, now by Hosler. And no, that's Degerstrom, excuse me, with the steal, up and in for two. Degerstrom with the steal and the two, making it 20-6. And now stolen again by Degerstrom. He'll take it to the basket, up and in for two. Back-to-back steals here for Degerstrom. Make it 22-6. Gallion on the far side nearly has it stolen away. He does. Lucas Kreft with the steal. Takes it to the basket, blocked by A.J. Drift. For three from Hosler. That's well short, no good. And on the ground, the rebound will go to Degerstrom. On the far side, it's Kreft. Kreft gives it to Visser, who shoots inside. Off the glass, no good. Remmer will come down with the rebound. He has four. A.J. Drift slows things down, waits for the offense to get in front of him. Now takes off. He stops on the elbow on the far side. Now to Gallion in the far side corner. Now to Remmer. Remmer puts up the shot. Not enough on it. And Masterson going to come down with the rebound. Quickly up the court to Visser. And Visser going to be fouled hard. And Visser will go to the line and shoot two. This foul is on Remmer, his second, and the team's third. And it looks like it might have been a personal foul on Remmer. Everyone is leaving the free throw lane, and Visser will get to shoot alone. First one is up, no good. And second one up and in, so they will not only get to shoot the free throw with no one around, they will also get possession. 23-6 after the one made free throw by Trey Visser. A personal foul on TJ Remmer. And he'll have to check out of the game for probably a little bit here. Hosler will get to inbound here for Hinckley-Finlayson. He inbounds to LaFave. LaFave gets a screen from Masterson, works inside, up and in for two. What a nice move there from LaFave. You get that one to fall. It's 25-6. Quickly the other way go the Raiders. Bayerly has it. Bayerly trying to look for someone. He's looking for Tyler Bodema, and it's going to go out of bounds off of Bodema's knee. Visser inbounds to LaFave on the far side. LaFave looking to get around Schleiss. Stops and starts, gets inside, out to Buchanan for three. No good, it rolls out. And Masterson gets the rebound. He puts it up and in for two. Masterson his third rebound, first points of the game. It's 27-6 now with 8.5 minutes to go. Drift working around. Gets it out now to Peterson for three on the near side elbow, far side elbow rather. That bounces twice. It's no good. And then barely trying to come down with the rebound, but swats it a little too hard with one hand, and it goes out of bounds, and Hinckley-Finlayson will take over. Schleiss checks out. Gallion will come in for him. Hosler will inbound to LaFave. Mille switching it up, playing man-to-man, full court, but now LaFave using his speed to get around Masterson. Pass from LaFave inside for two. Beautiful pass from LaFave to Masterson for 2 points, and it's 29-6. Drift pulls up. Short jumper, no good. Buchanan with the rebound. Quickly down court. Now to Hosler in for two. And it's 31-6, and we get our first timeout of the game with 7:53 to go. Jaguars lead 31-6, and we'll take a quick commercial break to hear a word from our fine sponsors.
If you've been injured in an auto accident or have sustained other personal injury, you don't have to leave town to get good representation. Spear & Swanson attorneys at law in Pine City are experienced and will work on your case with no fee until they get you money. They also handle divorce and custody cases, criminal defense, including DWI and other legal matters. Spear & Swanson is your local law firm that cares about you. So if you need legal representation or advice, call 320-629-7586. Spear & Swanson, attorneys at law in Pine City.
31-6, the lead here for Hinckley-Finlayson over the Mille Raiders. Jaguars dominating early here in this one, getting some steals and creating turnovers. Right now they have 6 steals, and we're just over the halfway point here in this game. Jaguars really have dominated early on, and the big thing has been the passing. The passing has been really good, and I think just the tempo, the hustle that the Jaguars are showing right now is just really what has put them over Mille at this point in the game. They've also hit 4 threes, which helps as well. And their defense right now just absolutely suffocating the Raiders' offense. Gallion starts with it and almost had it stolen away by LaFave. LaFave knocks it out of Gallion's hands, out of bounds. LaFave, he wanted that one, but goes back to the Raiders. It's Gallion who gets the inbound. Gallion gets around LaFave just once, now gives it inside to Bayerly, and this ball stolen away by Hosler. Hosler takes it up the court and takes to the basket himself. No good, and getting the rebound there is Eric Peterson. Peterson has it, gives it off to Drift. Drift has this one knocked away to Kreft now. Kreft, deep pass to Hosler, no good on the shot. And it was Bodema who got the rebound. Kreft would get the steal. Pass now to Bodema from Gallion, right back to Gallion. Gallion thought about three, right back to Bodema now. Out to Peterson on the near far side elbow. Now over to Bodema in the far side corner. Barely inside. That pass is tipped, stolen away to Lefebvre. Lefebvre takes it, puts up a nasty hook shot. It's no good, and Kreft is going to come down with the rebound. That shot no good, and now Gallion will come down with the rebound off the missed three-point attempt. Drift. He'll give it back to Gallion. Wanted him to come back past the half-court line, and now a three from Peterson falls well short, and Masterson will get the rebound there, his fourth. Up the court, it's Kreft with it. Kreft gets a screen from Masterson, pulls up from three, off the front of the rim, no good. Lefebvre raced after it, but Peterson would wind up coming down with the rebound for Mille Lacs. Quickly up the court goes Gallion. That hook shot was knocked away by Kreft. Give him a block, and now up the court goes Hosler. Hosler goes inside to Lefebvre. He keeps it alive, back out to Kreft. Kreft drives inside, puts up a little hook shot floater, no good, and getting the rebound was Kreft himself, and then Buchanan. And now racing for it. Barely going to come up with it. Barely to the basket. Up and in for two. Just does the safe thing. And puts it up and in for two. And now Lefebvre on the other side. Barely probably could have easily dunked that, but he did the safe thing and just shot the layup. Kreft with it. Now out to Hosler. Hosler top of the key. Drives. Gives it off to Buchanan. Buchanan. And Lefebvre for three. Lefebvre makes yet another three here in the first half. It's 34-8. It's Bodema who has it stolen away by the Jags. Lefebvre, long jumper is no good. Masterson comes down with it though, and he gives it out to Kreft for three. That's off the mark, and A.J. Drift comes down with the rebound on that one. 34-8, under 5 minutes to go. Jaguars with the lead, and oh, we get a foul here. Masterson, it looks like. Masterson gets really his second foul. It is the Jaguars' fourth team foul here in the first half with 4:46 to go. Jaguars on top 34-8 over the visiting Mille Lacs Raiders, and right now the Jaguars trying to get back to that 500 mark. They're at 9-10, one game under 500. They fell 2 games under 500 with their loss last Friday to Pine City, but have since won a game and improved to 9-10. That game they won over Ogilvie on Tuesday in Ogilvie, 56-46. Looking at their schedule, it's not an easy one. They've got one more home game left. That is it. But it's a home game that they will certainly take because it's not only against an opponent in the section, and it's against Proctor. So a very good opponent going to come into town here for Hinckley-Finlayson later on. And that should be a good game, as well as their next 2 games. They will play up in Virginia against Virginia and International Falls on Friday and Saturday. Those are also section opponents. So 3 section opponents in their last 6 games for Hinckley-Finlayson. And those are going to be important because those teams might be, a game or points-wise above them in QRF standings or below them. But if you get section wins, those will add to your QRF points, and those will give you a better ranking, a better seeding for the playoffs, and maybe even help you get a home game in the playoffs. But they have a lot of work to do, and it starts tonight, and they need the win here against the Raiders. Gallion almost had that one stolen away by Lefebvre. Fakes the pass, now gives it off to Peterson. Now to A.J. Drift on the far side. Drift will look to give it off to someone. Fakes the drive, now to Gallion in the far side corner. Now to Peterson. Peterson to Drift. That ball a little bit behind Drift, but he manages to bring it in. Drift going to drive to the basket, puts it up off the glass, no good. Buchanan comes down with the rebound. Quickly up the court goes Lefebvre. Oh, the shot behind his back, no good. Coming down with it is Gallion. for Mille. This pass now to Peterson. Peterson thought about three, pulls it down, gives it off to Drift. Drift driving inside, puts up the shot, no good. He gets his own rebound, and that one's no good as well. He gets the rebound again. 2 rebounds for Drift, and this shot is up and no good. He comes down with the rebound once again. Now to Bayerly. Bayerly puts up the shot, and that's no good, and Buchanan will come down with it for Hinckley-Finlayson, and then in the blink of an eye, Hinckley-Finlayson up the court, and Lefebvre drops it in for 2. 36-8 now. The score in favor of Hinckley-Finlayson. Drift with it on the near side corner. Working on Kraft, and now he passes it into no man's land, but Peterson gets open, and then he jumps and passes it off to Bayerly before coming down and getting the travel call. Back out to Peterson, now to Schleiss. Schleiss into Bayerly. Bayerly tries to get through the defender. And it looks like we're going to get a foul on Hinckley-Finlayson, their team's 5th, and the 2nd here on John Buchanan. 3 team fouls for Mille, as Peterson gets set to inbound for Mille, and he's got to get it into someone quickly. He does, but it's stolen away by Lefebvre. Lefebvre takes it up the court for Hinckley-Finlayson. Drills behind his back, puts up the shot. That's going to be no good. And then Gallion tried to get the rebound, but Lefebvre, it bounced right to his hands. So he pushes it out, and now with it is Kreft to Buchanan inside the perimeter. Now out to Degerstrom for 3. That's no good. And coming down with the rebound, barely trying to get it, but he stepped on the boundary line as he touched the ball, so it will stay with the Jaguars. Lefebvre going to get a well-deserved breather as Hosler will check into the game. Lefebvre hasn't come out for just about 16 minutes. Inbounded to Hosler, now to Kreft, now out to Degerstrom. Degerstrom pass far side to Visser. Visser on the near side to Degerstrom, now to Kreft. Kreft on the far side gives it to Hosler. Back to Degerstrom, inside to Buchanan. Nice job passing there, and Buchanan puts it up and in for 2. With 2:20 to go. Jaguars increase their lead now 38-8. Visser on Gallion. 2 number 10s going at it. Now gives it to Drift. Now to Peterson. Peterson took his eye off the ball for a moment and mishandled it. And then Visser almost gets the steal, but knocked it out of bounds. And Mille will take over. They catch a break there. 2:02 to go here in the first half. 38-8. Mille with the lead. Hosler guarding on the inbound. The pass was tipped. Drift tries to go inside to Bayerly, and it goes off of Degerstrom out of bounds. So Mille again will get to hold on to it. Peterson inbounds to Drift on the near side. Now to Schleiss, top of the key. Schleiss wants to drive. He does. Pull up to the basket, off the backboard and in for 2. Thomas Schleiss makes it 38-10. On the other side, it's Visser who passed it off to Kreft on the far side. Now he gives it off near side to Degerstrom. Degerstrom wanting to go inside to Buchanan. Instead goes to Hosler. Hosler gives it out to Visser. Now to Kreft. Kreft will drive inside. Gives it to Buchanan. Buchanan, his hook shot up, no good. Rebounded by Bayerly. Bayerly to Schleiss. Schleiss takes it up the court. He drifts inside. Stops. Back to Bayerly. Bayerly out to Drift. Drift trying to get around, now works it inside to Bayerly. Bayerly up and in for 2. Nice passing there by the Raiders. It's 38-12. Visser with it. Now off to Kreft, now back to Visser. Over to Degerstrom. Now in the corner to Hosler, back to Visser. Visser goes inside to Buchanan, but this is stolen away by Bayerly. Give him 2 on the game now. Drift wants to take it all the way himself. Instead, passes it off to Schleiss as he's midair. And Schleiss has that one blocked by Buchanan. Gets back to Gallion, though, and Schleiss sees no one coming. Takes the 3-point shot. That's no good. And coming down with the rebound is Kreft. Kreft to Degerstrom. Inside to Buchanan. Oh, Buchanan wanted Kreft, but they weren't on the same page. And then Buchanan puts up the shot. It's no good. And he gets fouled. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 with 28 seconds to go here in the first half. This is going to be Drift who gets the foul, his first, team's 4th. Buchanan at the line to shoot 2 now for Hinckley-Finlayson. They lead 38-12. First one up and no good from Buchanan. Buchanan here in the first half has 7 points. Bailey checks out, and for him is Remmer. Shot is up and no good from Buchanan, but coming down with the rebound was Degersham. Now out to Hosler, over to Visser. On the far side, back to Hosler. Hosler, bounce pass to Buchanan. Degerstrom, now to Visser once again. Visser will take it, give it to Degerstrom, or excuse me, that's Hosler. Now back to Visser. 7 seconds left, 6 seconds left. Visser out to Buchanan, and that one's going to be stolen away here by Schleiss. And up and in for 2, and that'll be it. So Schleiss will end the half here for Mille Lacs on a high note. He gets the steal, takes it down court, puts it up and in for 2. And right behind him was Degersham trying to knock that one away, but unable to. But here in the first half, the Hinckley-Finlayson Jaguars lead over the visiting Mille Lacs Raiders 38-14, a half that was dominated well by the Hinckley-Finlayson Jaguars. But the Mille Lacs Raiders showed life there at the end of the half and showed that they have something that they can work with going into the second half. So we'll take a commercial break, hear a word from some of our fine sponsors, and when we come back, I'll recap the first half, let you know the scores in that first half and who scored how many points and what the fouls were. And then I'll also give you the keys to the game here for both teams. But of course, that's all when we come back after this break. And a word from our fine sponsors. You're listening to boys basketball on WCMP.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Visit Town & Country Insurance today at townandcountry-ins.com or stop in our offices in Finlayson, Hinckley, and Mora.
Are you interested in a technical degree that can quickly help you land your dream career? Or maybe you've always dreamed of going to a 4-year college, but you'd like to start close to home. Either way, Pine Technical and Community College has you covered. PTCC offers more than 50 degrees in hot fields like healthcare information technology, advanced manufacturing, and business. PTCC is now accepting applications. Financial aid may be available online at pine.edu. Starting out or starting over, find your future at Pine Technical and Community College.
With high school sports season here again, Wellia Health wants to remind you that they want to help your athletes stay in the game. Sports medicine services are available at every Wellia Health campus. Whether it's the young athlete, the weekend warrior, or the accomplished athlete, injuries can happen. Get back in the game by calling the sports medicine experts at Wellia Health, 320-679-1313. Wellia Health. Live life well.
When something is important to you, you'll do anything to make sure it's protected. You want someone you know, someone you trust to help you take care of it. That's why you need to work with Pine Insurance Agency and Auto Owners Insurance. With over 50 years combined experience, let the experts at Pine Insurance Agency help you protect what's important, whether it's your home, car, farm, insurance, or loved ones. Call them today to set up a free, no-obligation quote. Your local Auto Owners Insurance Agency is Pine Insurance Agency, located in a Northridge Center in Pine City.
Since 1967, Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley, has been where to go for all your building projects. Let Gerald Schmidt help you with designing, remodeling, or any new construction. Schmidt Construction specializes in residential home building, agricultural, industrial, and commercial buildings, with expert advice on all of your building projects and ideas. When you hire a contractor to take care of your building needs, you can't do better than Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley. 320-384-7901.
It's the holiday season. That means sipping hot chocolate and spending time with family and friends. But it also means winter is here, and your furnace is working hard. With your comfort and safety as our top priority, Aquarius Home Services is offering a $55 furnace tune-up and safety inspection. At Aquarius, it's about keeping you cozy warm and worry-free for the holidays, and treating your home and time with respect. Schedule your furnace inspection today at AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
Minnesota. It's home. Hot summers at the lake, beautiful falls, snowy winters, and rainy springs. We experience it all. Make sure you're ready to handle whatever this state throws at you with help from Minnesota Equipment in Isani. Minnesota Equipment carries brands you love, like John Deere, Steel, Toro, Gravely zero-turn mowers, and Aaron snowblowers. Their helpful staff can not only get you the equipment you need, but can help you maintain it so it will last. Plus, they carry a full line of farm equipment. Minnesota Equipment in Isani. Online at minnesotaequipment.com.
Mortgage rates haven't been this low since 2017. Chad Greenway talking Franzen Bank Mortgages. Now is a great time to buy or build your first home, your dream home, or that cabin you've always wanted. Or maybe refinance and lower your monthly payment. The local mortgage experts at Franzen Bank will find an option that best fits your situation. Buying, building, or refinancing. Find a Franzen Bank mortgage expert today at franzenbank.com/getthere. Tell them Greenway sent you. Franzen Bank and Trust. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Back here on 106.5 FM, AM 1350, WCMPradio.com is where we're streaming this game. The Hinckley-Finlayson Jaguars lead the Mille Raiders at halftime, 38-14. Leading the way for the Jaguars, it was Silas Lefebvre, who had 11 points, and then 7 for John Buchanan, 6 for Lucas Kreft, 5 for Ashton Hosler, 4 for Levi Degerstrom and Jordan Masterson, and then 1 for Trey Visser. 5 rebounds there for Lucas Kreft and Jordan Masterson, along with Levi Degerstrom, and 4 for John Buchanan. Had a bunch of steals there in the first half, 10 steals in the first half by the Hinckley-Finlayson Jaguars, 4 from Lefebvre, 2 from Kreft, 3 from Degerstrom, and 1 from Ashton Hosler. And they also had 5 first half fouls. For Mille, the Raiders, leading the way for them was Thomas Schleiss with 7 points, 4 for John Bayerly, and 3 for TJ Remmer. Rebound-wise, 6 for AJ Drift, then 4 for Bayerly and Remmer, and 3 for Jacob Gallion. Steals-wise, they did have 4 there in the first half, 1 from Peterson and Thomas Schleiss, and then 2 from John Bayerly. So they were also getting some steals there in that first half, but of course, the Hinckley-Finlayson Jaguars getting just a couple more. And the Mille Raiders in the first half had 4 first half fouls. 2 came from TJ Remmer. So 38-14 is our score here as we are at halftime between Hinckley-Finlayson and Mille. And looking at the teams here, the keys to the game, I think, looking at Mille, I think you got to work the ball inside. That's where you've got your points coming from right now, is being able to get in the lane and get underneath the basket and get the shots in from there, because the perimeter game right now is just not working. Hinckley-Finlayson's defense is just too tight right now for you to get anything going on the perimeter. And I think if you're the Mille Raiders, I think you got to start working the ball a little bit more inside. I think that's what you're going to have to do in this game to have any more success, because once they were able to work the game or the ball inside, you've seen there at the end of the half that they were getting some shots to fall. Yeah, they were still tough shots, and yeah, Hinckley-Finlayson's defense was tight on them, it was like glue, but they were able to get more shots up and more shots to fall. And not only that, they were able to get some offensive rebounds when they were down there underneath the basket. So it's not like they weren't having success. They were, but you just got to work it down there more. Tell the guys, hey, sometimes you're going to have to get a tough shot off and try and make it fall for you. And you might have to take some fouls here in the second half, I think, if you're Mille. Try and force some fouls and try and make Hinckley-Finlayson stop you underneath the basket, because right now, those are where the majority of your points are coming. And if we look at the stat sheet right now, all but 3. So 11 of their 14 points have come inside the paint. And I think if you're Mille right now, you've got to start working it inside. Just, again, tell your guys, hey, you're going to have to make the tough shots, and you're going to have to take some fouls here in the second half for us to have success on defense. Well, there's not really much you can do to stop Hinckley-Finlayson right now. But I think if you're them, try and get some more turnovers. Try and force some more turnovers from the Hinckley-Finlayson Jaguars. Try and get things going your way from there, because we've seen 2 turnovers there at the end of the half led to more points for Mille. So try and force some more turnovers, but don't try not to get any more fouls, because Hinckley-Finlayson will certainly work that in their favor, and they will draw more fouls from you. On On the other side for Hinckley-Finlayson, I don't really see a lot that they need to change. Their offense is humming along right now, and their defense is, like I mentioned, tight. It is tight on the Raiders right now, and I don't think they really need to change much. Just get it in the hand of the hot hand right now, and make sure you're passing it around like you were in the first half. That was one of the big keys in the first half for Hinckley-Finlayson, was the fact that they were passing the ball so well. So just continue to pass the ball as well as you were in the first half. And then on defense, I don't think you need to change anything. I think you've been playing really good defense, so I don't see much that you would need to change if you're Hinckley-Finlayson on defense. I think that's about the best of a first half as you can have as a team. Of course, if you're the head coach for Hinckley-Finlayson, Dan Kreft, you want your offense to turn the ball over a couple less times, but turnovers happen in a basketball game. Both teams out there getting set for this second half. The Jaguars lead it 38-14. It will be the Raiders starting with the ball here in the second half. Eric Peterson will inbound to Gallion, and Gallion passes it to Peterson. Peterson guarded by Silas Lefebvre. Now back to Gallion. Gallion right back to Peterson. Going across court to Drift now on the far side. He's going to be double teamed. Gives it off to Peterson. Far side corner for three. No good. But the rebound goes back to Gallion. Inside now to Remmer. No good on the shot. Remmer gets his own rebound. And then is fouled. So we're going to get our first foul of the second half early. And this is going to go on Buchanan, his third, unfortunately. Remmer no good on the first. 38-14. Remmer is good on the second, though. That makes it 38-15. And up the court with it is Visser. Visser off to Lefebvre. Lefebvre now to Kreft in the near side corner. Back to Visser. Top of the key goes to Degerstrom. Degerstrom over to Lefebvre on the far side. Lefebvre goes inside to Buchanan. Now out to Visser. Visser for three. Just a flick of the wrist, and that's no good. But racing after the rebound is Lefebvre. He comes down with it. Now gets it to Degerstrom. Now to Visser. Visser. Cross court to Lefebvre. Shot is no good from three. Buchanan going to come down with the rebound. He gives it out to Kreft for three. This is good. Lucas Kreft for three. He's hit three of them now, and the assist from John Buchanan, and that makes it 41-15. Guarded well on the far side is Gallion off the inbound, and his pass is blocked by two Jaguar defenders. Goes out of bounds, though, so Mille will hold on to it. 16:47 to go here in half number two. Drift got an inbound quickly as that 5-second clock nearly ticked away. Goes to Barely off the inbound. Now Gallion has it now to Peterson. Now inside to Barely. Barely trying to bully his way inside. That shot is up, no good, but Remmer comes down with the rebound, puts up the shot. That's no good. And then it's Barely. Hook shot up and in for two. (41-17), and Visser up the court for Hinckley-Finlayson. Gives it off to Degerstrom. All the way to the near side. Pass to Lefebvre. Lefebvre back to Visser. To Degerstrom. Inside to Buchanan. He puts up a shot, kind of a blind shot. No good. Drift comes down with the rebound. And quickly up the court go the Raiders. It's going to be tipped and stolen away by Trey Visser. Visser gives it to Lefebvre. Now to Degerstrom. Far side corner to Kreft. Lefebvre. Visser. Now to Degerstrom. Degerstrom back to Visser. Now inside to Buchanan. Buchanan pass it back out to Visser for three. No good, and Barely comes down with the rebound for Mille. Visser just hasn't been able to find his mark here this evening. But once he does, he is dangerous from three. Drift gives it off to Gallion as double team worked its way to him. Gallion on the far side. Gives it back to Drift at the top of the key. Drift fakes one way, now drives inside. Looking to pass somewhere, gives it off to Peterson. Peterson. Now out to Remmer. Remmer on the far side corner. Driving inside, stops on his dribble. Bounce pass to Barely. Barely gets through one, blocked. there by Degerstrom. And now to Lefebvre, to Visser, up and in for 2. The assist from Lefebvre to Visser off of the block shot by Degerstrom. And it's 43-17. We get a timeout here. And the timeout called, I believe, by the Mille Raiders. 43-17, 14:48 to go here in the first half. Or excuse me, second half, with the Jaguars leading. And so far the Raiders, they're trying to work it inside. They took my advice. Not that they listened, but they took my advice a little bit. They're trying to work that ball inside. Of course, it did look like Remmer had a wide open 3 on the far side. I thought maybe he should have pulled up from there and tried to make something happen, but they're wanting to work that ball inside, and Hinckley-Finlayson's defense, much like it was in the first half, really clamping down out there. They're making life difficult for Mille. Drift will inbound. And this is going to be stolen away by Visser, and the shot from Degerstrom is no good, but he was fouled. And the foul goes on Peterson. His first. Kreft not too pleased with that foul. He looked like it was a little bit too aggressive. Refs will convene about it, though. They'll come together and talk about it, and Kreft just shook his head. Yeah, he likes it and likes what they're talking about, and I think they're going to look at making this a personal foul once again. So it will be. And Visser, or excuse me, it's Degerstrom. Degerstrom will get to shoot alone, and Hinckley-Finlayson will get possession once again. So the personal foul there on Peterson. Degerstrom no good on the first. No good on the second. So Degerstrom does not make either of his shots, and that's unfortunate that you had a chance to build your lead, but you do get possession once again because of the personal foul. Kreft will inbound to Visser, now to Lefebvre. Lefebvre fakes one way, gets around Gallion, passes to Kreft. Kreft in the near side corner, back to Visser, now to Degerstrom. Lefebvre on the far side. Back to Degerstrom, now to Visser. Bounce pass to Visser, and he'll bounce it to Kreft. Kreft now to Degerstrom, out to Lefebvre. Lefebvre drives inside, aggressive move. It's up and no good, and barely. He's going to come down with the rebound. Up the court, now to Gallion. Gallion, it looked like either wanted to take the 3 or drive inside, but Lefebvre was right there. And this is blocked, a 3-point attempt blocked by Buchanan. And Buchanan's shot is blocked back the other way. So back-to-back blocks, and who else made the block other than Gallion? Gallion had a shot blocked by Buchanan, and Gallion comes back the other way. That's called hustle, and blocks Buchanan's shot. And now this ball going to be out of bounds. It looks like tipped off of the finger of Silas Lefebvre. 43-17, 13:46 to go. This inbound is to Drift, now out to Gallion. Gallion trying to go to Bayerly, but no dice, and John Buchanan will get the steal. Quickly up the court go the Jaguars. It's Visser out to Kreft for 3. That's no good. It hits the top of the backboard. That's considered out of bounds, and Mille will take over. 43-17, we've gotten to a little bit of a stalemate here these past couple minutes. Inbound to Gallion. Nearly poked out from behind. He gets it to Kreft, though. Now to Peterson, up the court to Bayerly. Bayerly, he's going to try and drive inside. Pulls up the shot. It's no good. And Buchanan comes down with it. Another rebound for him. It's Degerstrom up the court with it. Now out to Visser. Back to Degerstrom. Degerstrom to Visser. Visser thought about 3, gives it off to Kreft on the far side. Back to Visser, now to Degerstrom, who goes inside. Out to Kreft on the far side, elbow. 3 is no good, and getting the rebound that time is A.J. Drift. Drift has no points on the night, but he does have 8 rebounds now. Drift out to Gallion. Gallion gives it off to Remmer on the far side. Inside to Gallion, and that is blocked from behind by Silas Lefebvre. Out of bounds, though, and will be Mille Lacs ball. Kreft and Buchanan check out, and in for them is Hosler and Masterson. This inbound to Drift is up and in for two. His first points of the game make it 43-19. Visser, pass to Lefebvre. Near side back to Lefebvre, or excuse me, Visser, now to Hosler. Visser back to Hosler. Hosler far side to Visser, who goes inside, out to Lefebvre. Lefebvre for three. Shot is no good, and Remmer comes down with the rebound. 43-19, creeping up on 12 minutes to go. Hosler guarding Drift well, and Drift, as he's almost falling out of bounds, throws it off of Hosler just to keep possession for Mille Lacs. That's just a smart heads-up play there from A.J. Drift. 43-19, 12 minutes to go. Plenty of time here for Mille Lacs to start getting some things to fall and start getting back into this game, but the shot there is blocked by Lefebvre, and quickly up the court go the Jaguars. Now Visser has it, spins around, looked for the shot. Instead, he'll give it out to Lefebvre. Now to Degerstrom, or excuse me, that was Degerstrom to Hosler. Thought it was Hosler for a moment. His shot is no good, and then looks like we're going to get a foul called on Hinckley-Finlayson. It's going to be Jordan Masterson getting his third. Team's second. Drift will inbound to Peterson. That pass is tipped and stolen away by Visser. And, yep, travel by Lefebvre. Lefebvre, he didn't, oh, that's tough. Lefebvre went inside, looked for a spin move. His foot slipped and came out from under him. And because of that, that's a travel. 11:40 to go. Mille Lacs will catch a break as Hinckley-Finlayson got another steal, but they can't convert any of that into points. Drifts back out to Bayerly. Bayerly's shot is up and no good, but Remmer hustling after it. Oh, and then Jay Runyon calls a timeout for Mille Lacs, and Eric Peterson a little bit upset with the timeout call because he felt like he had an open shot for three. Remmer, you know, Runyon, I understand why he called it. That was on his part a smart move because it looked like Remmer was going to be on the court, and it didn't look like he was going to get the ball passed in time. They would have called jump ball. It would have gone back to the Jaguars. So he called the timeout to keep possession for his team, but that's a tough one because, yeah, Remmer did get it off, and then as he got it to Peterson, the timeout was called, and Peterson kind of in a little bit of frustration. He's like, oh, man, I had the open three, but just a tad too late on the pass from Remmer. I think Mille Lacs has got something going right now. 43-19. Got 11 and a half minutes to go, and they're down by 24. Still a lot of work to do. Still plenty of work to do here from Mille Lacs. But when you've held Hinckley-Finlayson scoreless for this long, you've got something going for you. And it's not, they haven't, and Hinckley-Finlayson hasn't scored a lot of points since the first, 2 minutes of this second half. So Mille Lacs right now, Mille Lacs has a huge advantage over Hinckley-Finlayson right now. Well, the Raiders defense working hard out there, and they took a page out of the Hinckley-Finlayson book. They're tight on the Jaguars here. Jaguars have gone a little bit cold from the field. And Mille Lacs, they necessarily haven't benefited off of it because they haven't turned everything they should into points, but they're starting to. Drift trying to work it inside, gives it out to Gallion. Gallion passes to Remmer, far side corner. Remmer goes inside to Bayerly. He's guarded by 4 Hinckley-Finlayson Jaguars, but he still gets it up and over them for 2. Makes it 21-43. Degerstrom to Visser. Now to Hosler. That pass intended for Seth Olson. Goes just past him. But coming down with it is Visser. Now to Hosler. Back to Degerstrom. Far side pass to Olson. Olson dribbles once. Gives it in the far side corner to Hosler. Top key, Visser. Visser drives. Gives it to Hosler. Hosler, he goes inside. And is it a travel? Is it a foul? It is a travel. So Hosler drove inside, and he was bumped, and he fell. I think he thought he was going to get a foul, and instead it was a travel call. And the Raiders get it back, trailing 43-21 with 10.5 to go. Remmer holds on to it, passes it now to Barely. He almost has it stolen away from him. He's going to drive inside, puts up a hook shot. It's no good. And Remmer comes down with the rebound, and he drives a little bit too far underneath the basket. That's no good. Rebounded by Seth Olson. Olson comes down with the rebound, and it looks like now we get a foul here on Mille as the Jaguars took it up the court. That'll be their second team foul and the second for Peterson. Jaguars will inbound as they lead 43-21, 10:13 to go. Degerstrom will get it to Visser. Now Degerstrom has it near side corner. Oh, that pass is blocked by Drift. Nice job by Drift. Saw what was coming. 22-point deficit here for Mille with 10 minutes to go. And the way this pace is going, I don't think they'd score enough before the time ran out, but doesn't mean they can't. They trailed 38-14 at half. Now trail 43-21. This is inbounded to Olson. It's no good, and coming down with the rebound is Masterson, and he'll put it up and in for two. 45-21, and Hinckley-Finlayson ends the scoring drought. It's Gallion with it. Gallion trying to get it up the court on the far side. Stops, backs out, and looking for someone to pass to. He gets it to Barely. Barely's going to drive up underneath the basket. That shot was blocked, but he gets the ball back, and now blocked back out of bounds, but last touch by the Jaguars, and Lax will hold on to it. Jay Runyon for the Raiders wants an explanation on something. Meanwhile, the inbound to Drift. Now Gallion has it. Now out to, it's Schleiss, who has it stolen away by Seth Olson. Seth Olson up the court. That shot is no good, and coming down with the rebound is Gallion. Gallion nearly has that one poked out by Visser. Up the court on the far side. Stops, passes it to Drift. Drift over to Remmer. Remmer inside to Barely. Barely back out to Schleiss. Schleiss has that one poked out, and now stolen away by Hinckley-Finlayson. It's Degerstrom up and in for two. Degerstrom for two off the steal, and it's 47-21. Gallion inbound to Barely. Barely has it. Barely trying to get around Masterson. Can't do it. Now gets it out to Schleiss. Schleiss inside. Pass to Barely. That shot is up off the backboard and in for two. Barely makes it 47-23. Seth Olson with it on the far side. Now inside to Masterson. Out to Hosler. Visser has it top of the key. Now to Masterson. Tried to bounce pass it, but goes off of Remmer's feet, and it's going to be stolen away by the Raiders. Drift has it. He works it up the court for Mille, and no travel, no foul, no nothing there. It probably should have been one called, but it was not. Coming down with the rebound is Hosler. Hosler gives it to Visser. Visser now to Degerstrom. Degerstrom, that pass nearly stolen away by Drift. Drift just can't hang on to it. Went through his hands and out of bounds, so Hinckley-Finlayson will hold on to the ball. Buchanan checks in for Masterson, and LaFave also checks in along with Kreft for Hinckley-Finlayson. Seth Olson looks to inbound. He does. He gets it to LaFave. 47-23, 8 minutes to go, and counting. LaFave to Seth Olson. Olson for three, no good, and then Barely comes down with the rebound for Mille. A.J. Drift takes it up the court, trying to get around Hosler. Back and forth. Now it goes inside to Gallion, and then, we get a foul on. Looks like it's going to be on LaFave. And no, they're actually going to call this one on Olson. Interesting. His first, team's third. 47-23, 7:42 left in the second half. Gallion's going to have, that's Schleiss who inbounds to Gallion. Schleiss had about a half-second left before that whistle was going to blow for the 5-second rule, but he does inbound it just in time. Drift with it at the top of the key. Drift going inside, pass inside to Barely. Beautiful feed from Drift to Barely. That makes it 47-25. Lax trying They'll get within a couple of the lead here. They're working hard, but time is working against them. Hinckley-Finlayson has it. It's Hosler. Hosler drives inside, backs it out to Kreft. Kreft now inside to Buchanan. Buchanan's just going to pull up the jumper from the free throw line. It's up and in for two. Buchanan extends the lead once again. It's 49-25. Schleiss with it, and he gives it in the corner to Gallion. Gallion to Barely. Barely to Drift. Drift, top of the key. Trying to find someone to give it off to. He does to Schleiss. Schleiss pulls it down. And this ball blocked by Seth Olson. And he will take it away. Kreft, far side to Lefebvre. No good on the three-point shot. Rebound up for grabs. Gallion comes down with it. Gallion racing up the other way. And his shot is up, and it rails home. 49-27. Lefebvre pass to Olson, now to Hosler. Hosler back out to Lefebvre. Now back to Hosler once again, and right back to Lefebvre, far side to Olson. Olson looking, gives it to Lefebvre, now to Hosler. Hosler will pull up from three, that's no good, and it bounces right to Gallion. Gallion with the rebound, he takes it up the court again, passes it off to Drift. Drift up and in for two, plus the and one. Basket is good from Drift, and Lefebvre gets his first foul of the game, and now he has Drift has a chance for a possible three-point plays. It's 49-29, and the Mille Lacs Raiders have a chance to work this deficit down within 20 points. As we get a timeout here, looks like that timeout called by Hinckley-Finlayson. 5:57 to go. Still a lot of work left here for the Mille Lacs Raiders if they want to try and get back in this one. But they're getting close. They have had a very good second half, scoring 15 points and 11 points here for Hinckley-Finlayson. So they have outscored Hinckley-Finlayson in the second half up to this point. But again, Hinckley-Finlayson's lead was plus 20 in the first half, and that has really helped them here in the second half because they really kept that lead in that plus 20 mark, but the Mille Lacs Raiders, they have been working real hard in the second half, and can't help but think if they were able to get just a few more points there in that first half, this game would be a lot closer. Of course, anytime you score more points, it's closer, but you just feel like they would have more momentum, more chances out there, but it's been a very good second half here for Mille Lacs, and just feel as if they would have scored off of more of their turnovers and more of their chances, this game probably would be within 10 points, I'm guessing. But just some missed opportunities out there. And that can be the story of a game in any game, in any team, is just missed opportunities. Sometimes you just miss some, and that seems to be the reason you just didn't score enough. Drift shot is no good. So he only gets two out of it, and then Seth Olson comes down with the rebound. Lefebvre with it to Buchanan. Now over to Hosler. Hosler goes inside to Kreft, and Kreft has that one stolen away by A.J. Drift. Drift takes it up the court. He wants to go inside, loses the ball, and Olson will come up with it. He'll give it to Kreft. Now to Lefebvre, far side Degerstrom. That's Hosler. Now to Olson. Olson will take the three-point shot as he's left wide open. No good, and Remmer comes down with the rebound. It's 49-29, and Drift thought about three, passes it to Peterson. Peterson, top of the key to Schleiss. Schleiss now to Drift, near side corner. Drift back out to Remmer. Remmer, top of the key. Loses it. Has to save it from going out of bounds. Drift has it. And is there a timeout called? I believe the Raiders got the timeout called. So Drift came up with the ball as Remmer saved it from going out of bounds, but they have to call the timeout, and that's their fourth. They'll be left with one here as we creep under 5 minutes to play. 49-29. Jaguars with the lead. In the first meeting between these two teams, Hinckley-Finlayson did get the win over Mille Lacs, 54-24. Mille already scoring 5 more points than they did there in that first game. And Hinckley-Finlayson has a chance to easily match that in this game, their point total from that game as well. But Mille will have under 5 minutes to go to try and get this game in reach. Still a 20-point game. But again, the Mille Raiders have outscored the Jaguars in the second half, 15-11. But again, just a plus 20-point lead from the first half makes it tough. Peterson gets the inbound, and that three-point shot rattles home. Makes it 32-49. So within 20 points now. Kreft off to Hosler. Hosler tried to get a Buchanan, but stolen away by Drift. Drift up the court quickly. Drift trying to get it to Peterson. Peterson does grab it in the near side corner, and that ball stolen away by Lefebvre, but they're going to say he dribbled it on the boundary line, and the Raiders catch a break there. Lefebvre almost another steal for Hinckley-Finlayson. A.J. Drift inbound to Peterson. Peterson's going to pull up from a long three. That one goes over the backboard, touches the top, and that is out of bounds. 4:23 to go, and Hinckley-Finlayson will get the ball back. Kreft inbounds to Lefebvre. Now to Olsen, finds Buchanan. Hosler up and in for two. Oh my goodness, just beautiful passing. Plus the and one for Ashton Hosler. Hosler got bumped on his way up for that shot. It's 51-32. 4:15 to go. That is the first foul here on Hunter Hagberg. Shot is up and no good from Hosler. He gets only 2 out of that trip. And then you can hear the collective sigh from the Jaguars sideline as they thought that was their ball off the rebound, but the refs say it was last touched by Hinckley-Finlayson. It's Schleiss, gives it off to Remmer. Remmer far side corner. Now to Drift. Drift back to Schleiss. Schleiss trying to work inside, had a lane. He has to pass it, gets it to Drift. Inside to Schleiss. Schleiss puts it up and in for 2. Nice assist there from Drift. Olsen. Now over to Kreft from Lefebvre. Kreft back to Olsen on the far side. To Lefebvre, top of the key. 3.5 minutes to go. 51-34 is the score in favor of Hinckley-Finlayson. Kreft, wide open 3. Is no good. It rolls on the top of the backboard, which is considered out of bounds, and Mille will take over. Masterson, Dagerstrom, and Visser will check in for Buchanan, Kreft, and looks like Lefebvre. Remmer checks out, barely in for him. Gallion will get the inbound here from Drift. 3.5 minutes to go, and trailing by 17 are the Raiders, but still some time left. Drift passes it to Gallion, and then Drift's going to be called for the travel. So the Jaguars will take over. Seth Olsen inbounds to Masterson. Masterson waits, gives it to Seth Olsen. Olsen to Visser. Visser looking to get a screen. He does. Drives, gives it off to Dagerstrom for 3. That's Hosler, and Hosler nails the 3. Back up to a 20-point lead, 54-34. Hinckley-Finlayson matched their point total from the first game between these two teams. The Raiders 10 points above their point total. In trouble was Gallion, and then it's poked away on the steal by Olsen. Olsen with another steal, puts that shot up no good, and rebounded by Dagerstrom in for 2. (56-34). And Gallion nearly has that one poked away again by Dagerstrom. Dagerstrom going for another steal. Can't get it that time. Almost gets the steal that time, and he does. Masterson will come up with it. He gets the steal. Quickly up the court go the Jaguars. Olsen. Now over to Visser. That one's nearly stolen away by Gallion. Visser picks up the dribble, gives it off to Olsen. Olsen finds a lane to the basket, puts it up off the backboard. No good. Masterson comes down with the rebound. His shot no good, and Peterson will have it. Peterson to Schleiss, far side corner. Thought about three, gives it to Drift. Now over to Peterson for three. That's no good, and barely comes down with the rebound. Gives it out to Schleiss. Schleiss driving inside. Pulls up. No good on the attempt, and it's stolen away by Masterson. Jaguars go up the court. It's Degerstrom who gives it to Visser. Minute and a half to go. 56-34. Jaguars with the lead. Degerstrom back out to Visser. Visser back to Degerstrom. All the way to the near side to Olsen. Now to Visser. Visser to Degerstrom. Inside to Masterson. Masterson turns around, puts up the shot. No good. Olsen will come down with the rebound. Masterson along two. It's up and in. And makes it 58-34. Some JV guys will come in for Hinckley-Finlayson. Looks like we get Griffin Steele along with Gavin Scott. Also out there is Chase Clark, as well as Marcel Ritchie, as I try and look for the numbers here, and Jerry Crone. 58-34. Jaguars get the ball back with 36 seconds to go. That ball goes through the hands of Chase Clark, and it'll be a turnover. Goes back to the Raiders as Gallion gets the inbound, and he'll take it up the court. 30 seconds to go. Gallion on the far side gives it off to Remmer. Remmer now to Peterson. Peterson takes it inside. It's no good, and it is Gavin Scott who comes down with it. He takes it up the court a little too leisurely, and it's stolen away here by Schleiss. Puts up the shot. It's no good, but looks like he's going to be fouled. That one is the 5th team foul, and it goes against Griffin Steele. So Schleiss at the line to shoot two. The first one is up and no good. With 7 seconds to go, 58-34, Jaguars lead. Jaguars will get back to 500 at 10-10 with this win. And Schleiss, no good on the second. A race for the rebound. And it looks like we get a foul on Mille. Coming down with the rebound was Jerry Crone. And the Jaguars will just inbound here, and we'll dribble out the rest of the clock. 2-1, and that is it. So the final here in this one, Hinckley-Finlayson 58, the Mille Lacs Raiders 34. So the Jaguars get the victory, move to 500 on the season, 10-10, and they also get another conference win. And with that conference win, that moves them to 7 conference wins on the season, 7-4 now. And unfortunately for Mille Lacs, they fall to 1-18. So we'll take a quick commercial break here. Word from our sponsors. When we come back, I'll recap the game, let you know what's coming up for Hinckley-Finlayson and Mille Lacs. And we'll also take a look at the WCMP broadcast schedule. You're listening to boys basketball on, of course, WCMP.
This is a story we all share, of a place rooted in tradition and rich with opportunity, a people driven by compassion and vision. At Essentia Health, we're proud to play our role in this story, because we know that this place, these people, are like nowhere else. Visit Essentia Health in Hinckley, Sandstone, or our new location in Moose Lake for all your care needs. Schedule an appointment at essentiahealth.org today.
Are you ready for winter? Call D&E Heating and Air Conditioning in Hinckley. D&E Heating and Cooling is a local Amana dealer with quality workmanship and superior service. Now scheduling into 2022, D&E is ready to assist you, keeping all your heating and air quality appliances working like they should this winter. Their technicians are dependable, knowledgeable, and will provide a professional work ethic. That's their promise to you. Make them your go-to guys for all your heating and air quality systems. Look them up, deheatingcooling.com.
3 words: Sriracha Cheese Curds. Introducing the latest A&W family restaurant side with a kick. Sriracha Cheese Curds have arrived at A&W. We've spiced up our 100% Wisconsin white cheddar cheese curds with just the right amount of Sriracha heat. You can enjoy Sriracha Cheese Curds with your favorite A&W combo or on their own. Make sure to cool off the heat with a frosty mug of original A&W root beer. Hurry in, Sriracha Cheese Curds are only available for a limited time at your local A&W family restaurant in Pine City.
If you've been injured in an auto accident or have sustained other personal injury, you don't have to leave town to get good representation. Spear and Swanson attorneys at law in Pine City are experienced and will work on your case with no fee until they get you money. They also handle divorce and custody cases, criminal defense, including DWI and other legal matters. Spear and Swanson is your local law firm that cares about you. So if you need legal representation or advice, call 320-629-7586. Spear and Swanson, attorneys at law in Pine City.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Visit Town & Country Insurance today at townandcountry-ins.com or stop in our offices in Finlayson, Hinckley, and Mora.
Back in here at Hinckley-Finlayson High School, the Jaguars get the victory over the Mille Raiders, 58-34. Leading the way, scoring for Hinckley-Finlayson was Silas Lefebvre with 11, 10 points for Ashton Hosler, 9 for Lucas Kreft and John Buchanan, and then 8 for Jordan Masterson and Levi Degerstrom, 3 from Trey Visser. Leading the way rebound-wise, it was Jordan Masterson, 7, 6 for Buchanan and Degerstrom, 5 for Kreft, and then 3 for Olson. Steals-wise, they had 10 in the first half, 9 here in the second half, 4 total for Lefebvre, 3 for Visser, and 4 for Degerstrom. And then they had 5 second half fouls, along with 5 first half fouls, so 10 altogether. A pretty clean game by both teams. On the other side, for the Mille Raiders, leading the way for them was John Bayerly. He had 12 points, 9 points for Thomas Schleiss, and then we had 4 points for TJ Remmer and AJ Drift, 3 for Eric Peterson, and 2 for Jacob Gallion. Leading the way rebound-wise for them, it was Remmer with 9, Bayerly and Drift with 8, and then Gallion with 7. They had 3 second-half steals along with 4 first-half, which equals 7. And then they had 4 first-half fouls and 3 second-half fouls, which equals to 7 total fouls in the game. Hinckley-Finlayson had 19 total steals in the game. And, of course, these are unofficial stats. Just want to make sure I let everybody know that. So these are not 100% official. I do the best I can while running all the equipment up here and trying to keep up with the game. But, again, these are unofficial, but the best that I can do to keep up with the game. But in this game, Hinckley-Finlayson dominated from the get-go. Here in the second half, though, Mille Raiders, they outscored Hinckley-Finlayson at 1 point, 15-11, but it was, you would think with that kind of a little bit of a scoring stretch or outscoring, you would think, oh, they're really close, or they've got to be a little bit closer. Well, because of the lead at halftime for Hinckley-Finlayson at 24, and because they had scored just a couple more points here in the second half, they didn't get any closer. They got within 20 a couple of times. They got within 17 a few times here in the second half, but it just wasn't enough because Hinckley-Finlayson was able to just keep scoring when they needed to. They didn't score real often here in the second half. I mean, they did score 20 points, but they didn't score all that often here in the second half, but they did just enough to get the win over Mille Raiders here this evening. Lefebvre pretty much rested the entire second half along with Kreft. They got the other guys valuable time. Buchanan rest mainly the entire second half, so a bunch of the younger guys got in and got valuable time out here, but again, just a pretty dominating performance all across the board for Hinckley-Finlayson. 19 total steals here in the game. That is unofficial. 10 in the first half, though, for Hinckley-Finlayson, and that's why they got out to the 38-14 lead. The Mille Raiders, though, they showed a ton of fight here in this game, and when you look at the scoreboard, that's not going to tell the whole story. It really feels, and I think I tried to allude to it there in the game in the second half, it really felt more like a 10-point game, not a 20-point game. It felt more like a 10-point game for Mille Lacs, and it really felt like they were so close a couple of times where it felt like if they got a couple more turnovers or some things just to go their way, that they really could have tipped the scales and made it, only a couple possession game, but just because of the 20-point lead at certain points, they just were unable to do that here tonight. And the Hinckley-Finlayson Jaguars wind up coming away with the victory. So, unfortunately for the Mille Lacs Raiders, but I think when you look back at this game, if you are the Raiders, you got to be happy with how your guys performed. Yes, you would like to have gotten the win. Yes, you would have liked to have been down at 20 at halftime, but you got to be okay with the effort your guys showed, and not only that, the heart and the hustle they played with up until that final buzzer, because, man, did they work hard, and they got back within 20, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people here probably didn't think that was going to happen because how dominant Hinckley-Finlayson was, but the Jaguars were able to do that, and they come away with the victory here tonight. They move back up to 500 on the season at 10-10, and they are now 7-4 in the conference. And for them coming up here, Friday and Saturday, they'll be up in Virginia. They'll play against Virginia on Friday, and on Saturday against International Falls. Those are both section games, and they'll also play Proctor next week. Why are those important? Well, they're huge. They are very important here for Hinckley-Finlayson because Virginia, International Falls, and Proctor, like I mentioned, are all in this section, but those are games that they need to win in order to improve their seeding. Proctor right now below them at the 11 mark, Virginia at 12, and International Falls at the bottom. You might say, how will that help them improve their points-wise QRF to get above, Piers, Greenway, Evelyn, Gilbert? Well, it will, because section games mean a lot in QRF points, and when you win section games, those will help you boost. Right now, Piers and Greenway, Piers anyways has a 1-3 record in section. Greenway has a 2-3 record. Evelyn Gilbert 4-3. That's why they're 8 points above Hinckley-Finlayson in the QRF standings. But if Hinckley-Finlayson can go out and win their final 3 section games, that'll make them 4-2 on the season, and that will more than certainly put them above Evelyn Gilbert. Now, it's a lot of work to do, but they can do it, and that should certainly help their positioning, because right now they'll have to go on the road for their first playoff game to Piers. But I think even with tonight's win, and if they can win even one of the 2 games from Friday and Saturday, they'll be pushed above Piers, maybe even Greenway. Right now they're 10-10, Piers 6-11, and Greenway 8-10. Evelyn Gilbert 8-9, but their section record is better than the rest that we just mentioned. So they will play Virginia tomorrow night up in Virginia, and then International Falls in Virginia as well. They need to get those victories because, again, they'll have to play against Proctor next week, and those are section games, so those will be very important. For Mille Lacs, they will wait until next Tuesday to play. They will welcome in Bram, the Bombers, and last time those 2 teams played, it was a 71-40 victory for Bram. But the way they played tonight, I think Mille Lacs is going to have a huge chance to get an upset, what would be considered an upset, over the Bram Bombers at home. But in this game, the Hinckley-Finlayson Jaguars get the victory over Mille Lacs, 58-34. I want to thank all of you who tuned in here tonight. I want to thank, of course, all of our fine sponsors. We wouldn't be able to come out here and broadcast any of these games if we didn't have any of these sponsors. So thank you to the sponsors for not only sponsoring this game, but all of our winter sports. For WCMP, I am Ethan Game Day Gilman. The final here in this one, Hinckley-Finlayson 58, Mille Lacs 34. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a great rest of your night and drive safe out there.